She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you are in that spot where you have felt that your life had some amazing things happen, yet it's kind of been a while since something great has happened. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, wow, you know, you look back and you're like, oh, those golden days, oh, those amazing times. And then you realize, I've kind of been in a rut. That's kind of where Jen found herself. She was in that spot where she had seen some incredible things come out, actually even out of a tragedy. Lots of blessing, more than anything she could ever hope for or even imagine. And yet there was something still stirring inside of her. She didn't even realize she found herself just kind of stuck without knowing it. Had some outside voices that were penetrating her mind to cause her to be dissatisfied with where she was at. Then she stumbled upon First Steps to Success, which is a 3-day training seminar that things began to change. And wait to hear how fast these things began to change. Jen, thanks for joining us today via Skype. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for me.
Yes. Hey, first of all, I love your hair. I love your whole look. I love it all. Okay, so you said that you suffered a tragedy about 14 years ago?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, back when I was a freshman in college, I lost my dad to suicide.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, I came home from a class as a freshman in college, and there were lines of cars in the driveway. I went to the front door, and my mom opened the door, and tears were just streaming down her face. And I immediately began to cry, even though I didn't know what was going on. And I hugged her, and I asked her, what's wrong? And her response hit me like I had been shot in the lungs. And she said, it's just going to be you, me, and your brother now. And then I then learned that my dad had killed himself, and he had shot himself in the head.
Oh, my gosh. Jen, do you have any idea as to why he shot himself in the head?
I mean, we have had our wonderings as far as what happened, but we don't know for sure.
So tell me about him. I mean, was he a working man?
Yeah, he was amazing. He was a fireman. He was a Vietnam veteran, a Navy SEAL. People often joked that he really was James Bond. He was so good at things.
Wow.
But he also had the biggest heart. Growing up, I just remember being blown away by the heart he had for people and the things I'd see him do. His generosity and his heart for other people just blew me away.
My gosh. Okay, so Jen, like, were your mom and dad in a happy marriage? They
were. Yep.
Was there a lot of fighting and screaming?
Not between them, no. I never saw them fight.
Wow.
Fight.
Did he leave a letter?
Nope, no letter. I remember that morning when I left for school, I had an interaction with him that felt out of the norm.
Which was what? What was the interaction?
He had stopped me as I was going out of the door of the house and stopped me and grabbed me and said, you know, I love you, and gave me a hug. So that was the last interaction that I had with him.
How old was your brother?
He's 3 years older than I am.
So he was already out of the house?
Yeah, yep.
Does your mom have any speculation? I mean, what was the speculation? I mean, that's what people do. You know, they're like...
We had been starting to see some things happen that made us question if, like, his mind was in an okay state.
Like what?
Being, like, paranoid about, like, Y2K and feeling like he was a little bit delusional, like seeing things we didn't know if were really there. So there was a few different things that were happening as far as his mental state that we were wondering if, you know, maybe things from his past and what he had been through had affected him.
Yeah.
And starting to, like, come out now, but
wow.
Nothing was officially, like, diagnosed or anything.
Wow. It's crazy. And so, there wasn't like an exorbitant amount of debt that he felt that pressure from that, or nothing.
No, not that I
So
know
did
of.
he have any particular faith?
He did. Oh my gosh. He loved God with all of his heart. That's one thing beyond the big heart that he had. He just loved God so much. And
So Jen, what did this do in you? I mean, you're 19 years old, 18, 19 years old. What happened in you? What was your response to this?
I suddenly knew that life was short. And I believe that at that time, God really instilled in me a heart for the broken, the lonely, and the hurting. And I knew that people really, really mattered.
So you didn't like go in the opposite direction of I hate you, God. You know, why did you take my dad from me? And then you just like started partying, drinking, having sex, and going wild.
Not at all. Not at all. I think God truly met me there in my brokenness and the days and the years that followed. And I remember there was a pivotal moment, like in the couple days after he died, where, I mean, I was just sobbing uncontrollably. I remember my face being so raw just from the emotions of crying. But I remember in those moments, I feel like I really truly heard him say to me in the stillness of all of that in my soul, I heard him say, we've got this, you and me, Jen, and I will never leave you or forsake you. So God became my rock and was with me, you know, in the days and the years post that happening.
And he
saw him do immeasurable things.
He became the father to the fatherless.
He totally did.
Yeah, he
totally
became
did.
the father to the fatherless. My goodness, that's a tragedy. I mean, people say they had a tragedy, and then there's this. You know what I mean? Like so many people bellyache about the simplest first world things, but this is real. I mean, you're still a teenager. You have a father who you love, who that loves you, that is the model example, and this is crazy. For you to suffer through that, your mom to become a widow like that, that's a horrific thing. And so as we continue on in this story, we're going to hear what happened next. Like, yeah, God met her in her brokenness and became her father and assured her that she was going to be okay and that everything was going to be okay. But you know, other things happen. And sometimes things don't turn out the way that we think that they might, and we allow other outside circumstances to kind of change the way we think about things. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this. Are you confident that you're always getting a good deal? Have you been equipped with the negotiation confidence, strategies, tactics, and supporting tools you need to close world-class deals? Finally, JPA is making the exact same specialized negotiation training and secrets used by the world's largest, most successful corporations available to everyone. Proven in more than 60 countries and used by brands like Adidas, Vodafone, Pfizer, Nokia, and others, the JPA negotiation method will set you up to save money and time while significantly increasing your profits. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling real estate, closing contracts with suppliers, or selling products and services to individuals or organizations. Using their simple step-by-step negotiation preparation checklist, you'll be ready to confidently slug it out toe-to-toe with the toughest professional negotiators. It's time for you to stop leaving money and opportunity on the table. Go to bizneg.com/events to register now. Again, that's bizneg.com/events. Get registered today. Financing a home can be a nightmare if you don't know exactly what you're doing. Ask me. I know this. That's why the first thing you have to do is find a mortgage company you can trust that has your back through the entire process. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your current one, or looking for an investment property, Rick Fujisaki at Wintrust Mortgage wants to win your trust. Rick understands the mortgage industry, and he can take all the stress out of financing a home for you. His easy-to-use worksheets will help you calculate the mortgage you can afford. And he has a unique tool designed to help you find and set aside money for your down payment. And when you work with Rick, who, by the way, I love, a portion goes to caring for the poor through King's Ransom Foundation. So visit loanmortgageguys.com and start building your dream today. Again, contact Rick at loanmortgageguys.com.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
So there you are. You suffer a terrible tragedy. Your father commits suicide. He's a great man. Mom and dad have a great marriage. Something doesn't add up. You choose not to turn to drugs and alcohol and abusing yourself or cutting yourself or sleeping around or any of that. But instead, you hear that beautiful voice say, "We got this." God became the father to the now fatherless and Jen Horling. And I think it's a phenomenal thing to be comforted by the living God. There's no comfort like the comfort that comes from a living God. So, Jen, you then, saw some amazing, miraculous things happen in your life, but then you kind of came to a place of kind of being stuck and not knowing why. Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, God had literally led me to a place through different seasons where I never thought my life would ever be, was the desires of my heart in helping the broken and hurting people I'd run into while taking my creativity to heights I never imagined. Yet I was letting the world make me feel like I was failing and unsuccessful, and I didn't even know it. I also had
unsettled... What do you mean? I want to understand. The world. Okay, that's a very churchy word. And we're going to scratch that word. You mean society?
Say that again.
Do you mean society? I mean, the world is like such a 1989 term for everyone that doesn't go to church. Are you just saying society, the pressures from our society?
I would say that I was letting the voices outside of God make me feel like I was unsuccessful versus the God that I knew, the God that had taken me through tragedy, had told me who I was and given me a very specific vision. I had let other voices trickle in to make me feel like I was unsuccessful, even though I wasn't. Mm-hmm. So I had let other voices have a place in my heart, and I didn't even notice that happening.
So were the other voices people you went to church with? Were these some of your friends, some of your family members?
I mean, I would say it was literally just looking at success and what the world says success is.
You mean society. Because the church is so much the world, it's disgusting. And there are people in churches just as addicted to materialism, addicted to status, addicted to food, just like everyone that doesn't go to church. And so that's why I'm camping out on this word, the world, that came from the 80s, that has been like so overly branded in Christian circles. But the fact is that we all think that we're not of the world or we're not even in the world. The fact is that there are pressures from all of the influences around us, those that go to church, those that don't go to church. It's all the same pressure that we are now striving for something we don't even know that we want. We're striving for something that we think is going to give us the answer to whatever problem that is that we think we have, and we're not even sure what the problem is that we have. So you end up getting invited to First Steps to Success. And what happened to you? You said that you had a massive transformation in that event. What happened?
Yeah, totally. I was so blown away that I actually left the conference so moved and inspired that when I picked up the phone to call my mom on the way home, I just cried. I couldn't even speak. I was so moved. Wow. And I knew I had found what my heart was looking for, both in the community and in your coaching. I knew that I had finally found that.
What were you looking for?
Well, I had unsettled dreams on my heart for people. And I also craved a mentor who could speak into success, finances, but also dreamed crazy big. I felt like I was in circles where everybody already viewed everything that happened as amazing, but I knew God wasn't done with me yet. And I knew that he had something very specific on my heart for people that was a lot bigger than just the moments that I was having happen that were happening.
So would you say that some of the influences that are around you was like, hey, listen, you've been so blessed. You shouldn't desire more. You know, all the great miracles you've seen, those are done, right? And go ahead.
I felt like it was more like nobody knew how to speak to reach higher, like where does life go from here?
Yep.
Like I feel like our God is so big, and a lot of times that we limit him, or we think that he's done with us once something awesome happens. And I just, there's something in my heart that said, no, we're not done.
Yeah, which is so awesome. You know, that's very common, Jen, after big wins. After big wins, we have a tendency of getting comfortable and allowing mediocrity to set in. It's a very common thing. It's almost like human nature. Even if we look at the story of Elijah, right? He defeats the 850 prophets of Baal, and then what does he do? He runs. He runs, he hides, and he's terrified. You know what I mean? This is like human nature. This is what we do, or we think, how could there be any more? How could there be any bigger than that? You know what I mean? And God is really the bigger than that. Yeah, like over and over, the bigger than that, the bigger than that, the bigger than that, again and again and again. But I understand, like, you felt dry, that there wasn't someone stirring that dream that was in you. There wasn't people around you that were dreaming. And that's what happens, by the way. When you are a dreamer and you are surrounded by non-dreamers, people who are stuck, people who have just accepted mediocrity, people who think that the glory days are behind them versus they are in front of them, people that just have gotten tired, they've gotten lazy, they've become fearful, they've become idle. When you're around people that are like that, there's no one around you feeding the dream that's inside of you, or even challenging the dream that's inside of you, pressing you out of your comfort zone. Because all of us tend to move towards a comfort zone. We all move towards to what is easy versus believing for something that's huge, right? It's much more comfortable to stay in Egypt than to believe, that we can actually have a promised land. The Egypt is what we're used to. And sadly, we are surrounded by Egyptians. We are surrounded by all of those who are enslaved to the current society, the current system, the current comfort zone, the current level of income, the current pain of debt. We've all become very used to this status of our lives that is really very toxic, very much filled with bondage and a lot of mediocrity. And when that's who you've surrounded yourself with, you become it. Come on, your grandmother told you, right? I mean, think about it as you're listening to me right now. Your grandmother and your mama probably said, you are who you hang out with. The other statement, you are what you eat. You are who you hang out with. Why? Because you're eating their words. And their view on life penetrates your view on life. And then you become just like them. That stinks. That can't be you. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue more with Jen and hearing her success right after this. Have you ever wondered if your investments are making enough money for retirement? What if you could buy an investment rental property for as little as $35,000 that rents for at least $550 a month? After Aaron and Drew Hudson asked themselves this question, Hudson Real Estate Investments was formed, and now 200 transactions have been conducted. Their system helps individuals buy and hold real estate. Their definition of a great buy and hold is a property that pays you a monthly positive cash flow from day one. Hudson Real Estate Investments has a team who find properties available for immediate purchase, vet tenants, and have qualified property management in place. So if you're looking to have freedom and live your life on your own terms, grab your phone and text the word future to 484848. Get started today. Text the word future to 484848. Secure your future now. Do you have a closet full of clothes yet say, I have nothing to wear? Are you a mom doing her best but desperately lacking me time? Or maybe your schedule has you dressing practically instead of powerfully. What if I told you there's a system, a blueprint that can save you time, money, and turn every head in the room, as well as impact the world through fashion? Friend, you're in the fashion business whether you like it or not. You're an ambassador representing your faith, your marriage, family, and business. Style is just a skill made easy with 123 Style Me. 10 steps to style success that will expand your leadership, save you hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars. This program will bring you peace of mind, reignite your marriage, make you more productive, respected, and instantly boost your confidence, equipping you to be bold and beautiful. Go to courses.live courses.lindapage.com. Again, that is courses.linda, LINDAPAIGE.com, and make a priceless investment in yourself.
Prior to getting started with DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, we were spending absolutely every dime that we made. We were really struggling financially. Since plugging in to First Steps to Success just 4 months ago, we started a brand new business that is doing very, very well. We've paid off $4,500 in debt, but the most important thing is my relationship with my husband has improved like dramatically. I mean, we have so much more fun together. You know, I don't know about you, maybe your finances, you're doing great, maybe you're debt-free, maybe your relationships with your spouse, with your family are great. But if not, if you have some areas in your life that feel a little out of control or there's things that you need to work on, I highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success as soon as you can.
Prior to being dragged out to First Steps to Success, I was hopeless. I had no point to life. It was a day-to-day existence, working a job I despised for people I didn't respect. Deeper and deeper debt every year. You just couldn't get on top of it. I just had no hopes or dreams, none at all, and there was no point to life. But since coming out, we paid off $280,000 worth of debt, married the woman of my dreams. I came to love my job and the people I work for. I have all kinds of hopes and dreams. I get to watch them happen every day. I don't know what your life is like, you know. There's probably tons of hope. You probably know why you live and you got places you're going, but if you don't, you need to sign up for First Steps to Success. You go to DaniJohnson.com and you click on it and be here, because your life will not be the same if you do.
Prior to First Steps to Success, I was drowning in debt, I was terrified of my bills, and I wanted to travel, but I never had the money. And since coming to First Steps to Success, in the last 14 months, I've paid off over $18,000 in debt. I've gone on 6 vacations, and I'm not terrified of my bills anymore. So if you want to learn some proven strategies to really learn how to connect with people, take your life to the next level, all while having a total blast, you need to get registered for the next First Steps to Success today.
Prior to coming to First Step to Success, we were totally struggling, totally under the weight of $640,000 worth of debt, making $20,000 a month, but living paycheck to paycheck. So when we came here, and I realized that it takes a totally different skill set to keep money, to create wealth than it is to make money, I have totally turned around our lifestyle. We have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in 2 years. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. I don't know where you're at. You might have all your finances in order. You might have a wonderful life. Your marriage might be all perfect and your kids are behaving. But if not, if one of those things is lacking, you gotta get here. Book your next event. You need to be here. You will not regret it.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
There's something so powerful when you put yourself in a place where you are going to grow. There's something so powerful when you put yourself in an environment that's going to pull the best out in you. Something so powerful when you put yourself in a place where you are surrounded by people who are not satisfied with status quo. It's exactly what Jen Horling did just a few months ago, to be honest with you, 4 months ago. She puts herself in a place just like what I described. Jen, I can understand why you were crying, because when you are one who has a dream and you believe for more, and there's something in you that's stirring a passion for people, and you put yourself in an environment where you are surrounded by people who have the same passion, it's like you came alive and you're not alone anymore. So what have been the results? that have happened since you walked out of your now third first steps to success?
It was crazy. 2 days later, after getting home, I got hired to work on a music video with an A-lister. Not because there was a position.
What is an A-lister for all of us that don't watch TV, don't watch movies, and don't pay attention to music?
Sure. So basically, if I said his name, you'd know who it was.
Maybe. So it's a very famous artist, a very famous musician.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Known
by millions.
Yeah, totally. And that happened not because there was a position open for me, but because I had become friends with the one who actually hired me. He's an amazing guy with an amazing heart who truly believes in people too. Mm-hmm. Well, he paid me money out of his own pocket to come work on it. He created a position for me. And that was just the first thing that happened.
Wow.
And the second day on set of that music video, actually, just through conversations of getting to know another new friend, I ended up with an opportunity to answer questions that she had about God. So I got to share the gospel, which is, the vision and what's on my heart is people.
Yep.
And that gig then turned into the next gig, as I then got hired to work on a Chinese feature film. I had bought Job Dominance and Unlimited Success, so I just listened to it to and from set every day as we were working like 12-hour days. I found that pocket of time on my way to and from to listen to it. And just amazing things continued to happen, especially in like hearing, how important it is to right away edify other people and honor other people. And it's amazing just the stories that came out of just that one experience of what I watched happen in the dynamics of the people that I worked with. And one kind of funny story, I was going to the wrap party and I was actually really nervous despite being a people person, but I took that thought captive because I knew that life and death was in the power of the tongue.
That's right.
And I said, nope, I'm going to go in and edify whoever I talk to. And I pulled that from listening to your audios. And at the end of the night, of that one night, a new friend said to another that walked over, "Have you met my wife, Jen?" I laughed because I had just met him. And then the girl who he was talking to, and I had only met like once or twice, but I had talked to and edified earlier that night, responded with great enthusiasm, "Excuse me, no, that's my wife."
That's amazing. Okay, so hold on. So you picked up from the training, obviously at First Step Success, and the training materials that you took home with you, edification and some new people skills, and how to overcome some of the fears that rise up. Come on, I mean, yeah, you're a people person, but you are in a place that is like ridiculous, right? I mean, that's a very intimidating environment that you're in, and so you learned how to use that environment and use the skills, the people skills that you've been learning, the communication skills you've been learning, to be able to really get in and build some great relationships there. So you end up with gig after gig after gig, and these aren't small little gigs. Like, these are important things to have on your resume for sure. And then you've also paid off some debt.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've paid off over $4,000 in debt since January.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. That's really amazing. And you increased your income.
Yeah. What I usually make in about 1/3 of a year, I made in 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's even more stories and snowballs. In addition to that one snowball, there's probably like 6 or so snowballs that got going in all different directions for gigs new clients. And it's now, I'm looking to make more than I ever have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And exactly what we taught in January, that this is a year of increase. Actually, February is when we taught it, and you're certainly walking in that year of increase. Now, Jen, what do you say to that person who feels like their glory days are behind them, that are surrounded by a people that have just settled into mediocrity, have just settled into, well, just status quo, that they have not been walking by faith? What is your recommendation to them?
I would tell you to get off the fence and just come to First Steps to Success. We all wrestle with questions in our head. Don't even give them the time of day. Don't wrestle with them. Just come. I know you too have unsettled dreams inside of you, and God can do the immeasurable with you too. He wants to give you good things. So I would say come experience it for yourself. The events are so much fun, and you'll make a bunch of new friends, including me. I'd love to be your friend. Come be inspired by everyone's stories, the facts they share. You'll be challenged by the coaching to reach even higher, to reach those dreams that are inside of you. Be surrounded by people who are doing that. And best of all, you'll be given to the poor by doing so. So
That's
I would
right.
say just come.
That's awesome. July 13th, 14th, and 15th in Dallas, Texas. You need to be there. You need to be there. There is dormant potential inside of you. There is a dream that is sleeping and needs to come alive. There are people that are going to egg you on, new relationships, new doors that are going to open for you. There's new challenges that are up ahead of you that you're going to be prepared on how to handle this time much better than the past challenges. You are also going to be coached in such a way that your best is going to fly right out of you and you're going to shock yourself. Not to mention, you're going to learn how to pay off all of your debt in the next 5 to 7 years. You're going to learn these powerful communication skills that have opened doors for Jen multiple times as she heard snowball after snowball after snowball and putting herself in places that she never thought was possible. So if you want to live the impossible, I'm going to see you July 13th, 14th, and 15th in Dallas, Texas. Go to DaniJohnson.com now to get yourself registered. DaniJohnson.com. First Steps to Success is the event, July 13th, 14th, and 15th. We'll see you there. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day.